Okay, so we are now, I sent a couple people to double me. I'm just kind of getting feedback. I knew from a marketing standpoint that I never wanted it to actually say all this stuff about AI voice assistants. I think in this day and age, you don't need to say the thing that's so obvious. You know what I mean? Like, at some parts, you might need to say AI is doing this, but I think that can all happen on the onboarding. And so guess what? I created the back end for the onboarding double. So now there's two ways to experience double me when I send it to a prospect. You either click this button, enter in their name and information, and then it has a really cool, I think it's cool. I mean, it might not actually be cool. See? So you can't onboard until you put in your phone number. That was on purpose because we need the onboarding double, again, to show how double me works. The onboarding double is going to call that number, and it's automatic. So I think that's pretty cool. So now you can experience it in 3 different ways, right? You can onboard. You can go ahead and onboard. You can see how it works, which is the overview, which doesn't... I used to think that it was broken, but FYI, if you're going to use Bolt to do front end, it doesn't show iframe or embeds. So right there is a Vimeo embed from a screen recording that I did just in a couple minutes about how double me works on the other side. Not experiencing as a user, but experiencing as the person who is actually sending out the doubles. And so I have an overview of that. And then at the bottom here, you can see it. That button right there. That actually allows you to call the double. So you click that button, especially if you're on mobile. If you're on desktop, I think it triggers a different type of thing. On my iOS, it triggers FaceTime, like a FaceTime audio call, which is like a call over the internet. And then on my phone, it triggers it actually ties into my phone. So that's pretty cool that you can just call the double. So that's the sales double, and the one above, like I said, these are that links directly to the onboarding double, so someone can get onboarded right now. But I intentionally did that because I didn't want anyone to be able to just sign up. I want to be able to use double me actually. So when someone has a conversation, I think I set it up with 100 questions that it can answer, and then a few questions that we want to get to qualify prospects to make sure that double me is going to be helpful for them, and also that they can pay. And so there's a couple of things that I've done in the background that you all haven't seen. So that's just a breakdown of the landing page, right? But now I want to kind of separate it out, because at this point, I feel like everyone knows that if it can do everything that I'm saying it can do, it's probably AI. You know what I mean? I'm not, if I tell you that you don't have to take a call, but you can be everywhere at once, handling 1,000 calls in a day, you probably figure that it's AI. Or if I say, hey, you can take calls, you can actually set up your recruiting funnel so that when you get applications, it'll automatically call them to do an initial screen. And it sounds just like you, and it has the context that you do, and you don't even have to be on that call. You just get some automated follow-ups and stuff. They're going to know it's AI. So I don't need to plaster it all over my email. I'm not trying to raise funding for this. I'm trying to get customers for this. And so I don't need to put AI anywhere. So I basically worked with it to, over a while. It was funny today because now all the time I'm constantly, if I have a little moment, I'm doing a little transcription of what I'm thinking of. So let's say that I'm out with my family and we're at a grocery store and they need to go to the bathroom, or my kid needs to go to the bathroom, and my partner takes her. It's not my turn. It's my partner's turn. For the time being, if I'm not doing anything, like checking off the grocery list, or even if I'm walking to another grocery item, I'll still do a quick transcription. I'll just click this little microphone button on my phone, and I'll just talk to it, because I usually have ideas that I'm waiting to get out. I just want to be present for family time. But as soon as it breaks apart, I'm able to easily tap in and tap out. And so what I've been kind of working on is, excuse me, is figuring out like, how can I get everything across that I need to get across while still, like, you can tell that I just recorded this over my voice. So I want to get everything I need to get across, but I also want it to understand what I'm trying to do, which is, it kind of got it here. I'm not selling AI, I'm selling presence at scale. So, and I've already started sending people to this Double Me app. So, we're still trying to, like, anytime someone says anything that remotely says I have way too much inbound, I'm basically tapping in and saying, hey, you can set up a double. It takes like a couple minutes. And so this is what it came back with. Then I responded, it shouldn't be as aggressive because it says handles the conversations that you don't have time for. I didn't think that was the right move because, again, and I mentioned this in a previous video, I'm fortunate to have to have worked in different areas. I've been a founder, I've raised funding, I've been chief of staff, I've been CEO, I've been a manager, I've been in marketing, I've been in ops, I've been in finance. So I can kind of like wrap my head around different aspects of building a product or a company, which I'm not trying to build a company right now. I'm a little burnt out on that. I'm just trying to build products that I think are cool and that could help me make money in the future. And so I understand that saying handles the conversations you don't have time for is a little aggressive. And so I wanted it to tone it down, pick that back up, tone it down. And so then I started going through and like massaging it. Okay, instead of doing the exact same thing that was done before, because I realized right about here, this rethink scale tagline is exactly what is right here. And so I was like, oh, well, now it's kind of going off of what has already been done. So I was like, we don't want to do that. Instead of doing the exact same thing that was done before, let's craft a completely new landing page copy while keeping the design the same. Because I really like the design. I think it's fun. I think it's eye-catching. I think it aligns with the product UI. And kind of, I knew that I wanted this whole experience of having a double to be a little bit, because AI right now, sometimes people are really going after it and thinking like it is replacing my soul, right? It's a robot that has taken the soul out of my existence. So if I build one that is me but is not me, then it is soulless. So I built this entire product like ideation, the way that it interacts with you, how easy it is, the fact that it has its own phone number, things like that. I wanted to separate it out from you so that it really is like, it can serve as a double of you, but also at the same time, it has some soul to it. You know, like these buttons, they have a little soul to it. It's a little different. It's not, you know, I'm not just putting it on a Notion template and then like letting it rock out. I actually went through and created a little bit more of like the product look and feel. And the same thing I want to do for the marketing copy. And so I really like how this works and how it is, but there's a couple pieces. I didn't even realize that they shaded in the back. Okay, they were cooking. Huh. So I wanted to keep like the visual rhythm, animations, things like that. However, I started realizing that it was kind of trapping itself into the number of components, into the number of structure and architecture, hierarchy of content. And so at that point I said, you know, add more sections. Like there isn't a maximum word requirement, because I realized it was trying to truncate in the same way that it's trying to get through all of what Double Me does and all that it can be used for in this one thing. I kind of wanted to be a little bit irreverent to what it probably thinks expert marketing landing pages are, which might be true, but that's not what I need for Double Me. Double Me is kind of unique in that way because I do want it to be a single page. I don't want it to be more than one page. I'm not trying to build it out like crazy. I don't even have a way for you to sign up or pay for it. It's not self-serve. I mean, it's self-serve in a way in terms of like onboarding and getting, you know, testing out the product and demos and stuff like that. But like, you can't just pay me. I actually just worked on the sales, the pricing table, which I did it in a different way than I've ever done it before. But I think it's probably how I'll do pricing from here on out, and I'll go through that probably in the next video. But still, I wanted it to know that like you're trying to fit a lot of complicated things in theory and product and design into and user experience for both you for both our users and their end users that they're going to be sending their doubles me's to. Like, you're skipping over a lot of stuff. You didn't mention anything in here about or you didn't clearly mention that like it has its own Calendly. Like, you didn't mention some of the stuff that's actually pretty freaking cool, because if you have a Calendly, then that means that you can essentially give people access to your double, but it's only a double it's only a Calendly for doubles. Like, people can't have. I had to build a Calendly copy or a appointment scheduling app that is just for doubles. But in order to do that, I had to think through the fact that doubles are 24/7. So how do you build an appointment scheduling with something that's available 24/7 without someone realizing that you just sent them to your AI? Well, you can't build out a calendar that's fake. That doesn't work. So all these like little bitty things that we had to do from a product standpoint, I really want to be captured in this landing page, and this is just a little too simplistic. And so I went there and said, there isn't a maximum word requirement. This product is complex and has value on multiple fronts and makes, kind of blah, blah, blah. So then it actually kind of like rephrased almost everything. Not an assistant, not a bot, a real stand-in. I don't like that, but it's getting there. You already know where a double could help. I really love that. Really love that. Setup is a superpower, whatever. From 0 to double in 2 minutes. I like the play on 0 to 2 in 2. I think that's cool. That's wrong. Like, that's not how it gets set up. So we'll have to go back. Thousands of conversations, one you. Love that vibe. You don't have to miss a moment. Your double caught it. Love that vibe. You know what I mean? Like, so... you multiply, build as many doubles as you need. Like, that's kind of complex, because in the pricing model, we kind of went through and figured out like how we could, which I'll tell you how, like in the future, of how you can use Chatgpt to build out a pricing model, because I think what we did was pretty cool, and it allows us to, again, take the advantage that we built this entire product basically in Chatgpt. We built the marketing, the positioning, the deep research on the market, all these things we did in Chatgpt. So when it was coming up with the pricing model, it knew what features we had because it had helped us build the features. So I think that's really interesting as a new way to figure out pricing, especially if you want to be dynamic. But like I said, we'll go into that later. There are a couple more things. Scale isn't more meetings, it's fewer that you need to take. Cooking there, right? So it's getting some of these aspects. And so what I want to do is kind of go through and figure out, okay, what are we actually going to use? So you can see this is getting dense. It started out with just front end, back end, maybe a couple APIs or whatever. Like, here's my pricing. Like, now I have an onboarding double that has 100 questions that answered. I have, I know what the system prompt, I already put it in. So now I'm going to go down here to pricing, and I'm going to say landing page, copy. And right here, I'm going to, is it there? Is that heading 1? Okay, landing page update, and I'm going to timestamp it, because again, when we go to do some of this stuff, we'll need the timestamp so that we can keep track. And so I could honestly probably create a sub tab, but I think I could just use the fact that headers and subheaders and everything, header 1s, header 2s, header 3s are grouped together in Google Docs in a way that works for me. So I don't think I need to create subs. Okay, so essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the things that I'm going to go down this whole thing. Okay. I didn't tell you this, but what I did up here is I basically said, here's the code for the landing page. Let's workshop better copy. The design can be the same for now. So essentially, I'm going to come up with a landing page that I can agree on and then say, okay, now write me the copy for this landing page. And I'm going to take that information and I'm going to go to here, where my landing page is. Oh, pages. I'm going to come here where my landing page is and I'm going to copy and paste that code because I already gave it the context of exactly how this all works from a landing page standpoint. But in order to perfect it, I'm going to turn off diffs, turn on dynamic reasoning, because I found that when you're trying to design landing page or early product, that's the best way to do. I don't know, like I wish Lovebolt applied to help y'all work on customer service. Didn't even get a call back. I guess I'm not smart enough. No, I didn't even get I didn't even get a response to me sending my resume. And I've done customer success for multiple startups as early hire and managing build out of teams that can handle thousands of users. So anyways, neither here nor there. I'm not jealous because I get to build double me. So this is great. But I put that in there so that I can understand how to use Chatgpt in a way that when I'm finished building this whole landing page out, it would automatically have the code that is already on the website. So when I say, hey, rewrite the code with this copy, I can copy and paste it. And then I can use dynamic reasoning because I figured that out through trial and error, that it's the best way to build out landing page copy, especially when you already have your product designed, especially. Because it can use all of the CSS and stylings and animations from your product design. And when you say build me a landing page copy, it takes all of the fonts, all of the colors, all of the gradients, all the animation styles, all these like things, the vibe of what you built within your product is now being essentially extracted out and then put onto a landing page. And I think that is powerful when it comes to design. Okay. I've talked for a really long time. So I'm going to pause there and then get some of the stuff copy and paste it in and then pick up in a second. All right, back again. One thing that I wanted to call out is that sometimes when you're running copy, ChatGPT really, it thinks the best of you as a product developer and product designer. And so it'll add features in your pricing and in your marketing copy that you can't do, but it thinks that you should be able to do, but you're like, that's not the point. So sometimes you do have to go through and read it and say like, hey, these aren't possible with the current product. You should know that since all the features have been discussed in detail in this project folder. Which kind of essentially, it calls it out, says that it's wrong so it can rewrite it, but it also kind of frames anything else that it comes up with in this landing page. It should be taking this part and applying it to every chat, which you should know since all the current features have been discussed in detail in this project folder. Now, every single thing that it mentions in a current feature, hopefully within this chat, will refer back to all the things that we've discussed and actually understand what the current product is. You're kind of teaching it exactly what you want it to say to you. Okay, deploy where you work. So that got changed. Right here. Cool. So that got changed. And then I said, and I read through it and I was like, hey, one of the pet thieves essentially is like, you said a lot of cool stuff. You said a lot of cool ways that it could be used, but you didn't say what it actually did. You didn't say what the features were. And so they added a new section, which is what Double Me does. So we're going to take that too. And then we're going to put that underneath right here. So it's the first thing that people read. I don't know what that's heading to, but why'd you do that? Why'd you copy it that way? Oh, because it didn't keep its own same formatting. Great. Now I have to do all this. Setting to headline. These are all normals, right? Okay, I'll just drop all these down to a normal. All right. So drop all these down to a normal, and then wait. Okay, cool. All right, so now here's what we're gonna do. We knew that we were gonna do what double me does right here, so that's not a big deal. So now we're gonna wordsmith it a little bit. We're not gonna go too deep in that because that'll make this video really long. But Chatgpt wrote it, and even though I have a Chatgpt folder that writes most of my socials. Where is it? I'm not on social media. Oh, personal social media. It is trained on all the blog posts that I've ever written that I've loved, all the tweets that I've ever written that I've loved, and all the LinkedIn posts that I've ever written that I've loved. So now I can go in there and say, write me a post on whatever, and it'll use my own words to write something that is very, very close to what I would normally write, and I still review every single word that comes out of it. Because there is a feel, and so we don't want to violate that trust that anyone puts in you to put out things that you believe in. So we read everything. And so with that said, let's start. You can't be everywhere, but you can sound like it. Love that. In less than 2 minutes, create a version of yourself that picks up the phone, holds a conversation, and follows through. I don't like M dashes, but I do love an ellipsis. With your voice, your context, and your standards. I like that. I think that's cool. Start with one double. I think that's cool. Keep that. Here's exactly what you can do with double me. Cool. It's not a demo. It's not a it's a real working version of ready deployments. Okay. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna say, can you give me 4 versions of this that isn't so cheesy but still is persuasive and compelling? I think that's kind of corny. So now we're working back and forth with it now. It's not a prototype, it's a functioning version review. This isn't a preview or a concept. You don't have to imagine what you do your doubles or other one. Okay, no. These are all still corny. Why are you putting them in position to doubt it by mentioning that there's a possibility that it isn't ready, that it could be a preview, that it could be a prototype? Don't even put that into their conscious. Come up with a completely different way to think through that subheader. Okay, so I don't like, why was it doing that? Yeah. Dummy? No. Set up a voice line, task ready version of yourself. Nope. Set up an action immunity. Nope. Every double knows its role. Nope. Let's go. Actually, okay. I can go with this. Let's dig deeper on this. It's a little wordy as it stands, but the spirit of the subheader I want is in there. Can you give me more options? I'm not going to record this whole thing, by the way, because then this video would be like 3 hours long. Okay, these are kind of dope. Combine these. While still keeping the thread that it's a subheader for what the actual features are of double me. It was getting a little too heady, a little too abstract, which is what the sections below are. Okay. No, it's still not. It's still not there. Okay, let's take a different perspective. This is about what the actual things double can do, not the value. So, how would you tackle this subheader from that standpoint? Okay, close. There. Right there. That's a lie. Can't sync with the CR. Okay. This one and these two are awesome, but can you make them more compelling, more interesting, and more engaging for someone who may be visiting this page out of curiosity but still doubt how double me can change their lives? Okay, that might be reaching. I'm probably gonna go with one of these two that I said were awesome, but I always try and push it one more. You saw that in the idea maze. I'm always going like, okay, I want you to fail before I let you be successful. It's the opposite. Like I used to play basketball for a lot of years, and it was like you never leave the gym on a miss. I never leave Chatgpt alone on a make. So if it says something perfect, I'm saying, can it be even more perfect? And if it can't on the next try, then I say, all right, we're good. But sometimes it does. Keep your system updated without lifting a finger. Build a network of double, each tuned to a task. They take calls. Nope. Every double shows up with real capabilities. Don't ever. Nope. All right, nope, and no. So it missed. All right, so build network, each one will recall other things across your entire operation. Nope, not doing that one. That one. See, all of that was for this line. And that's what I mean by it's going to take a while. So let's keep going. Create unlimited dumbbells, spin up as many versions of yourself as you need. I kind of like that because it's sci-fi. I don't know. I don't really, not really mad at that. Each one with its own role. Each double can be built for a specific job. Anything. Take out about your doubles can pick up the phone or dial out everyone. Each one has a dedicated phone number. Sounds like you. Phone number. You have a real conversation on your behalf. Okay, I think this one. Okay, I'm not going to introduce that. I'm going to keep it as doubles, but it recently occurred to me that someone could essentially create a whole team of doubles that don't sound like them. That can essentially serve as like their customer support, their marketing person, their salesperson, their partnerships person, like their recruiting person, and it actually is just all doubles. It's not, but this is they can use different voices. They can actually create from thin air like different people, which is kind of insane. Because I have never thought about the ability to essentially create employees that don't actually exist at scale, which is kind of insane. Okay, cool. Each double comes with its own scheduling page, just like Calendly. I'm not sure we want to mention them by name, but let's do it just because it's a landing page. It'll be fine. This is cool. Get summaries instantly after every call. No more sitting through recordings, sifting. Yep, that's true. No one's actually going to go through the transcripts, which is why we don't give them. But we do like store them, I guess, for a little bit. Each conversation is auto-summarized with clear highlights. Your double shows up to the call. Because we're about to say summaries right here, so we need to say it twice. Waste of space. No more sifting through recordings. Great. Every conversation is auto-summarized with clear highlights. Awesome. So you can catch up on 10 hours of calls in 10 minutes. Love it. Just the same thing as the 2 and 2. Like, perfect. Generate follow-ups. You can delegate in 2 clicks. Yep. After every call, double mean suggest follow-ups in the owner. Nope. Nope. Auto creates follow-ups. Keep what's useful aside what's not yours. Ignore the noise. Okay, cool. Built-in CRM that syncs across all double one system one memory. Every double updates your contact records automatically. On point. Okay. All right, so that's how we do that. I'm going to go through the rest of those, and I might come back later and show you kind of where we're going from here.